Okay, so welcome back to some more Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game. And today, instead of doing what I believe would be episode 18 of Does Your Track Suck, we are going to do an extreme edition, a special edition of Does Your Track Suck. It's going to be Extreme Suck Edition. I'm going to go try and find at least 3 tracks that I feel like aren't very good, because typically we give like anywhere between practically 0 stars or 2.5 stars. We really haven't found that many that have been 3 or more, and I feel like, you know, the series is kind of based around that. You guys are just too good at making tracks, I guess. So I'm going to go search and see if I can find some extremely sucky tracks. Okay, so the first track we're going to try out today is 5-star MotoUS, made by MotoUS. And this track, I was joking with him, right? In the comments, he gave us a few suggestions we could try, and so we tried it. Can you triple that? I don't think you can, but you can kind of hop off. You know, it actually kind of works. It's not that bad. So we were joking, and he decided to go and attempt to make a 5-star track for us because I wanted to have a 5-star suck track. We've never actually had one. But this track really, I mean, I guess I'd be curious to know if he built and tried, or if he just built it and then put it on the track list. I'm curious because it actually kind of feels like maybe, I mean, the layout of it is so interesting to me. It actually is kind of an interesting layout. This section's the worst one. I just don't know what to do here. Well, I guess that kind of worked. I mean, it's not like the track just does not work, like, at all. Like, it's just single after single after single. I mean, you could have done that. I mean, those S-turns were kind of annoying. The rhythm section was slightly annoying. The flowability is what's so frustrating on this track, I think. It just doesn't have a great flow to it, but I think that it's not really that bad. It could be worse. It's not the best track. You know, to be honest with you, it feels a lot like the tracks that we make for Does Our Track Suck. I mean, I'm just going to say that was whoops. That was totally whoops. And then I don't really think you can double off of that. And then you don't have any drive here, so you're just constantly losing your momentum the entire time and kind of facing into things. It's like it's built perfectly to be sucky, you know? So I think he did a good job. Oh no, we got hip here. Hip to hip. I hate that. I hate that. You know, people do it a lot, but I hate it. I hate the hip. I don't like it. I don't like the corner jump. I mean, occasionally it can work out nice, but for the most part, I just don't like that. That's like my least favorite feature in the track editor. All right, see, that section wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. And it looks like we're going to have a bunch of over-unders here that we have to go over, and we actually did a track. See, like right here, it feels like the track's backwards. Like it feels like you're supposed to go the other way, you know what I mean? I think that's kind of interesting. I mean, I can't say that the track doesn't have character. I think this track has a ton of character. I mean, that actually works pretty decent. Now here it looks like you're going to send it over, but you don't. He tricks you. He tricks you into thinking that, and when really you have to go through a bunch of over-unders, and everybody knows how annoying this is. Super annoying. Oh, maybe I was trying to, I think maybe you could double to that middle one. Oh, but look, it thinks we're on the track. You can cut the track here. Wow, did anybody else know you could do that? So we just found a cheater line. So overall, I mean, we're running pretty stout lap times here, and I don't think you can actually do that. So we'll just double, and then we'll single into this corner. Probably wrap this up with, I don't know, maybe one more lap. I mean, the track actually deserves more than that, but overall, I think the design of the track is unique. I think just the layout. Say you took out all the jumps, you took out everything. I think the track design is quite unique, but the jumps that he put in actually are not. I don't think it's 5 stars, Moto. I really don't. I think it's better. You're just too good at making tracks, I guess, huh? You're so good that you can't even make a bad track. I think you could quad this, but I'm not going to. We're just going to triple. But you can't quite triple this to have or double this to have the triple into the corner. So that does kind of suck, and I think that was intentional. A lot of these wonky corners, you know, where it's just kind of a wonky track. It feels like a Does Our Track Suck, though. It really does feel kind of like that. Oh, and then it's so easy to overjump that. Not sure if that's all intentional or not. Get this little triple. Triple. I I think that would be a triple section if you were to get it, but the timing's so weird, you know? It's such a weird timing, and it feels built backwards. Like, it feels like he turned the track around almost, and you're just supposed to go with it. So interesting that the feel of the track that he gives. But some of this like that, it actually does work halfway decent, and then we're over jumping this. So we never really got it. I think if you were a decent player or had time in this, it wouldn't be nearly as bad as it looks at first glance, you know what I mean? But I mean, the flow is the part I think that makes this track so frustrating and annoying to play, is it just doesn't have any flow. I mean, look how much we're slowing up just to not overshoot that. And then you can't double that. I don't even think you can actually double that. Run back across the start, have this itty bitty little double into the corner. This one actually works really well. And then he fakes us out here looking like we're gonna jump over the over-under, but really we're going this way. And you can't really double this. Not this one. I might try and double the next one here. Oh, you actually can get on top of it. But then it's all done after that. And that's that. So we actually turned to 242. Moto, I'm curious, what's your best lap time here? You know, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to give this. I have to think about it a second. We're going to give it 4 stars. I've never actually given a 4-star rating, and I feel like it's warranted here because the best part about this track was the layout. I felt like the layout was kind of interesting and unique. Just the overall layout, if you took out all the obstacles, all the jumps, everything, just had the straights and the corners, it had a decent layout. The flow of it was terrible. It didn't work. It felt backwards sometimes. And then obviously when he put in the over-unders was just to be annoying on purpose. So 4 stars, good job, Moto. I think you did good, but I don't think it was 5 stars. I don't know what a 5-star track looks like, but I don't think this was it. So 4 stars, congratulations, you have the highest star rating out of all the people so far in this series. So let's move on over and see if we can actually find a 5-star suck track. Okay, so here we have the track number 2 we're going to take a look at today. This is called Helmet, and hopefully this makes the list. I've already done like 15, 20 tracks, seriously. 15, 20 tracks I've tried, and they haven't been bad enough to be worthy of being on this list. Now, I did ride this track a bit. I can't triple that. I think it's supposed to be a double into a single into the whoops because it practically does the same thing here. Now, if you're wondering kind of how I've been doing this, for me, when I'm judging it to be a really, really bad track or a really, really good track, I'm basing it on the flow. What kind of flow ability does it have? Actually, we got through that really well. Last, when I did it earlier and tested it, it didn't work that well. So that is by far the best part of the track. Like, by far the best part of the track. This is by far the worst part of the track because, like I was saying, I kind of judge them on flow. Do I get into a flow to where when I start burning off laps here, I want to keep going and going and going and I really enjoy it? Or is it kind of like, where's the finish line? I want to be done. And it just kind of gives me that, where's the finish line? I want to be done. Now, that, in his defense, that last little rhythm section that we actually kind of got good was halfway decent. And I mean, I'm sure there's probably somewhere out there that can do it, but I can't triple that. So I do feel like that's a double single into the whoops, just like this section kind of. Let's see if we can hit this rhythm section again, because this is the best part of the track. Ooh, so it's really tough, but that does work. So best part of the track right here, worst part of the track, the crossing back and forth over the start straight. I've seen that before in other tracks we've done, and I think typically those tracks did get like 2-star ratings maybe. I mean, they weren't really bad, but they weren't really good, and I know I added star rating. I keep forgetting where it goes. I know I add star rating when it does this too much. I just don't like it. I think it's a poor design. I think it's a poor design and a poor way of adding time to your lap, basically. There's so many other things you could have done other than crossing the track like that. So that's the worst part. The best part is the big rhythm section there. This doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, I don't think this is a 5-star track. So no, it's not going to be a 5-star track. I already think I know what I want to give it, and it's not a 5-star, but we're searching for a 5-star track. And based off of everything else I've already tried, it's going to be tough. I'm having trouble finding tracks that I think aren't really that good. I was going to actually slow up for this. Well, we messed it up now, and see what this gives you then. Well, we butchered that section, but you did see it one time. So that section is built actually really well. It's very difficult to get that really big line, but there's a couple other options through there. And see, if you just, the way it does that, trying to take that inside, I'm still inside of the tough blocks, but it's resetting me. Frustrating, man. Really, really frustrating. So overall, track design is probably not as good as what Moto gave us, but just like where he put the jumps and stuff like that is probably better than what Moto gave us. So I think they're pretty similar. This track, I think I'm going to give this track 3 stars. 3 stars. It's not really, really bad, but it's not really, really good. It's kind of boring. It's like, okay, we played it, we saw it, now I'm done with it. It's not a track that I would want to play again. I feel like the flow was constantly leaving me. Every time we'd start to build a little bit of momentum, like with that one really cool rhythm section he had, we'd lose it where we had to come back across the start straight. And then there was a bunch of that double, single into the whoops. I'm just not a big fan of that. Maybe if he put, I mean, I think he could have made a really cool big rhythm section there, but I don't know. 3 stars, not 5 stars, so we have to continue our search for that 5-star track. Okay, so here we have the 4th track of the day, actually, but it'll be the 3rd track you see. So we're going to have 4 tracks on this video, but I'm kind of going back and adding this one into it. It is called the small track. Now, I did go a bit deeper into the track list to try and find this bad boy, and what I've been doing is going off of profile pictures, so like seeing what the track looks like and then deciding whether or not it's worth checking out. I mean, there was actually a lot of tracks that would have been way worse than the ones we're doing, but you could tell somebody had done that on purpose, you know? So I'm trying to find the tracks where they were really trying to make a fun track, but it just didn't turn out that way, man. It really didn't turn out that way. And this track, I already ran a few laps on it. It's not the worst track in the world. It really isn't the worst track in the world. The overall layout of the track's not that bad, and you know, where he decided to put the jumps and the whoops and everything, his doubles and his triples really aren't that bad, but it's just so boring, man. It's so boring. You already have the track mastered basically after 1 lap, and like this, I really wish, you know, you weren't jumping into the face of that. And I talk about it in the final track that we do, so you'll hear it then too, but I'll say it here. I also don't understand why people use I think you could probably quad this. Maybe we'll try and quad that next time around. I don't know why people use the over-under, but don't actually use the over-under, you know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of things that would work just as good. I don't know, it just bothers me. It just bothers me for some reason, and it's their track. If they're happy and they really enjoy it and they have this killer track here, then that's all that matters. You know, my opinion does not matter like that. But since we're talking about it, it does bother me. I don't like using the over-under when there's really no point to it. I mean, you could have just put that the big, I don't know what you call it, the big roller basically. You could have put that there, but you didn't. Instead, we did it here. Actually, they do go under it, so it's not as bad. Now, let's see if we can... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could. I'm sure somebody could. I don't think that that's what they were intending when they built it, so I'm assuming it's just a super easy little baby generic track. Nothing special about it, nothing extremely bad about it, but nothing, just boring, man. I really don't know how else to say it. It's just so boring. So boring. So I think that's enough laps. I think you could have figured it out in 1 lap, and the rating we're going to give this is 3 stars, and I guess you haven't seen the final track yet, so you don't understand it. I try to explain kind of throughout the video how I'm rating them and why I'm rating them like that, and why some are getting 3 stars, some are getting 3.5, some are getting 4, and blah 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 blah. So I think I explain it a little bit better maybe at the next track. So make sure to check that out. But yeah, let's skip on over, and I know what happens. I know what rating is, but you guys don't. So let's scoot on over to the final track. Okay, so here we have our 3rd and final track we're going to take a look at today. It is called Daytona. This is Daytona 2025 is what we got going on here. Now, I do believe that they were probably going for Daytona. So this is a future Daytona track. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I actually have been on this track already. Some of the tracks today I haven't been on. This track I actually have been on. And the reason it's going to make the video isn't because it's like the worst track in the world. It's very similar, I believe, to the second track we did. But it just, you can quad this and triple it. It's just kind of an awkward, well, we kind of did it. It's just really awkward, but that's probably the best part about this track right there. So I'm just letting you know, everything from here on out you see is going to be downhill. The track has already peaked, and everything else is going to be downhill. Now this kind of annoys me a little bit because it hooks to that side, and I really don't know why. Look, we overjumped already, and I was letting off way before we even hit the jump. Unless he just liked the idea of sending it out to flat. The same kind of goes for this jump right here. We're going to send this to the flat. We're going to send this to the flat. I mean, come on, man. Why not put something there? Right? I mean, something. And then the finish line. The other thing I've never really understood, and it's not just this guy, it could be, we've seen it before, is why use the over-under if you're not actually going to go back under it? You know, you have plenty of other things that, you know, you have that big, I don't really know what to call it, that big roller, I guess. You have that you could use, and these step-ons don't really work that well. I haven't really got a clean run through them yet. All right, try to let off a bit. Oh, I let off too much. We'll turn it into big whoops. Turn it into big whoops. But I've never really understood the reasoning behind having the over-under when you're not really going to use it as an over-under. I guess if you just like it, that's what matters. And hey, that's what matters, and I always say it. If you're happy with your track and you're having a ball and enjoying yourself like crazy, that's all that matters. It's a video game. Nobody can tell you what to do. As long as you're happy, that's what matters. This is just my opinion. So if you happen to be watching this and your track came up on this, don't feel offended. You can say my tracks suck. Put my tracks out there too. We have a series called Does My Track Suck? You can go there and tell me how bad my track is too. Won't hurt my feelings because I like my tracks. So if you don't, I still do. But it's your opinion. Same with this. This is my opinion, and I think this track sucks. I really do think it does suck. It's just not, it's not fun to play on, you know what I mean? It's just not that great. I'm gonna try and go for one more lap and see if we can hit that rhythm section correctly. I think we actually did get it the first lap, but haven't gotten it since. I let off too much because it's deceiving. See, it's weird. That's like the best way to get through it. I don't know what he was planning for that there. Quad. There you go. Quad triple. Best part of the track. Kind of lackluster, but hey, it's there. There's just there's a lot of the track that doesn't have anything. You know what I mean? Like nothing. I feel like he could have added something here. It's just something to keep you preoccupied than just driving in a straight line, you know? And let's take this side, because why would anybody take that side? Why would anybody want to go down the left side when it's definitely slower? Should have staggered him maybe a little bit on both sides, or put... You know what they need to add in Supercross the game too? They need to add the half jump. I know you have the half whoop, but I want the half jump. I want to be able to create more split lane decisions. So, yeah, there you go. This track is definitely getting on here. We might do a fourth track, but just in case we don't, I'm gonna end the video with this. But if there's a fourth video, it'll actually probably be the third video, and it'll be backwards. I don't know. It depends on how long this video is. We're gonna give this 3 stars. I think we gave. Yeah, 3 stars. No, 3.5 stars. I was thinking of what I gave the other one. This gets 3.5 stars. Now, the reasoning behind the ratings so far, Moto's gets 4. I think he had the best layout of everybody and the most unique kind of original feel to it. But he gets 4 because that track had the worst flow. You were casing and just facing into everything. That to me is what makes a track really, really difficult. This track gets 3.5 because it's just so boring. So boring, and there's nothing. It has flow, I guess, but it has flow because most of the track doesn't have anything on it. It's just a straightaway. That's why this one gets 3.5 stars. There's just nothing happening on it. And we also don't know if he was actually going for, if he was being serious and that this was supposed to be Daytona 2025, because it doesn't feel like Daytona 2025 is going to look like this. Also, the third track gets 3 stars because I don't think the layout was worse than this one, and I think the flow was very similar. The only time it lost its flow really, really badly, and where it got its extra rating was because it cut back and forth through the straightaway so much. So that's why that track gets 3 stars, and why it's our lowest rated track in this episode so far. So yeah, there you go. We haven't found the 5-star track yet. I don't know if this is the last part. Well, this is the last part you're seeing, but you might have seen a 4th track somewhere in there, depending on how long the video was. But yeah, we'll continue this and hopefully find a 5-star track eventually and go from there. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. And until the next video, take it easy.